HighBridge, a division of Recorded Books, presents The Joy of Playing with Your Dog. Games, Tricks, and Socialization for Puppies and Dogs. By The Monks of New Skeet and Marc Goldberg. Read by Daniel Henning. Introduction. A pair of bearded men wearing sandals and black robes cinched at the waist strides across a field, their gaze directed toward a gaggle of puppies playing at their feet. They are on hilly land, but the men keep to a patch of level ground. In the background, a cluster of golden onion domes perch atop a wooden church. Beyond that, the property sits on a mountain that continues to rise several hundred feet, the top covered in a thick pine forest. At first, they may appear stern, but at second glance, you'll notice they're merely focusing on the dogs as they entice the pups to follow them. These men are monks of New Skeet, and they are not stern at all. They tread carefully because puppies tend to get underfoot. The monks of New Skeet live in a secluded Orthodox monastery in Cambridge, New York, 2 miles from the Vermont border. The 2 monks in the front yard play follow the leader with 4 6-week-old German Shepherd puppies from a recent litter. The pups follow the monks' encouraging hand claps and jingling keys, keeping the pups moving forward and interested in the game. From time to time, the monks stop and allow the puppies to catch up. As pups often do, they jump at the monk's pant legs for attention. One of the monks picks up a pup and snuggles it close to his face as he speaks in a high-toned voice and is rewarded with a brief puppy-scented lick. He then puts the pup down and continues the game. Meanwhile, the other monk is already encouraging his puppy to climb a small bank of stairs at the edge of the lawn. After a few minutes of this purposeful playtime, they head back toward the puppy kennel where they started. Such a game is not an uncommon sight at the monastery. At this monastery, founded in 1966, the monks of New Skeet have been breeding German Shepherd dogs since the late 1960s, and over the years have acquired a reputation for breeding handsome, healthy, and well-socialized dogs. They also train dogs of all breeds at their training facility and have authored 2 New York Times best-selling dog training books, How to Be Your Dog's Best Friend and The Art of Raising a Puppy. They were featured on a program developed by Animal Planet called Divine Canine, and more recently, they collaborated with their friend, author, and renowned trainer Marc Goldberg in writing 2 new books, Let Dogs Be Dogs, 2017, and The Art of Training Your Dog, 2020. In this current book, The Joy of Playing with Your Dog, we share how important it is to provide dogs with a variety of early experiences that are both fun and educational, that promote their growth and development. At the heart of this process is the vital role of play, which seems hardwired into the pup's DNA as soon as they're old enough to see and hear and interact with each other. It is amazing to watch a 5-year-old puppy already playing keep-away with one of her littermates, playfully taunting him while holding a soft toy in her mouth, turning away quickly as soon as the other one goes for it. Then she struts away several feet and stops, waiting for her littermate to make another attempt. This time, the other pup approaches a little more slowly, then suddenly grabs part of the toy, and a spontaneous game of tug-of-war ensues. Meanwhile, 2 other pups in the litter are on the other side of the pen, wrestling with each other, with one pup standing over the other one while the latter is on his back. High-pitched vocalizations arise from both of them as they play out a mock ritual fight. But it's ritualized. It's quite evident that they're having a blast, and suddenly the pup on the bottom manages to right itself and push back into the other, who quickly goes onto his back. These spontaneous games ebb and flow throughout the day, interspersed with feeding and nap times. The games will continue throughout the ensuing weeks until the puppies go to their new homes and families. Puppies sometimes entice their mothers to play with them, even though a mother may not normally play with other dogs her own age. Puppies can be hard to resist. And when you observe carefully, the mother dog will use playful opportunities to educate her babies. Pups can and do learn many lessons from her, not the least of which is to control the pressure of their bites to keep them gentle. Thus, they learn to control bite pressure with what will eventually be a mouthful of 42 teeth. When to advance and when to yield are also critical lessons mothers teach puppies. Play is not only an important bonding ritual between dogs, but it also offers humans teachable moments during which we can instruct our dogs on skills that will be critical for their well-being and for our overall relationship. Good play that serves to build the relationship, is purposeful. Conversely, an inability to play can indicate anxiety or other problems. At face value, it may not seem apparent how important these interactions are to the social education of young puppies, but on closer examination, they reveal how much growth and development occur in the context of play, both with their littermates and with people. In fact, when such interactions are missing or truncated, for example, if the puppies are separated too soon from the mother and litter, the behavioral impact can be serious. Not only does play engage puppies in activity that is fun and appealing, but it also has enormous value in their behavioral development, laying the foundation for a lifetime of quality companionship with their human owners. Wise breeders know this, understanding from experience how important it is to expose puppies to a variety of playful activities during the time they are in their care. This will include play with other dogs, whether littermates or their mother, for example, but also play with human beings. New Skeet's puppy kennel also keeps tunnels and puppy jungle gyms in their pens for the pups to play in and on throughout the day. It is an enriched environment that helps them grow and adjust while having fun. And here's the key. In each context, play will manifest itself in a unique way. For example, pups playing with each other will naturally use their mouths in a way that's appropriate and that teaches them how to moderate the force of their bite. However, it would be best to avoid this when playing with a human being because we don't want them mouthing us or our children. Instead, redirecting their attention with a line that is attached to a toy can be a positive way of getting them to express their prey drive. But what is common in both situations is the totally engaging activity that is play. As trainers over many years, Brother Christopher and Mark have seen how crucial a component play is to creating a dynamic relationship with a dog of any age. We remember one man, a successful business executive named George, who adopted a feisty German shepherd he named Ella. He brought the dog to New Skeet for training. She was a nice dog, quite sociable, with some preliminary obedience training under her belt. However, when George dropped Ella off with us, he complained that it was difficult to get his dog to settle down. Ella endlessly demanded attention. When we asked him how much exercise the dog was getting each day, George replied, "I take her on 2 long walks each day, and since I live and work in New York City, I also have a dog walker take her for an additional walk for an hour in the middle of the day. I've tried my best to train her, and she's pretty good about walking nicely on the leash, but she's just so demanding. When I get home from work, I'm often pretty beat, and doing the second walk is a chore that I know I have to do, but honestly, part of me wishes that I could skip it. I don't, but even after the walk, it's like she's just getting warmed up." We asked him what sort of play he did with the dog, and he looked at us quizzically. "Play? I don't really play with Ella. I just don't have the time." We explained that it seemed Ella wanted to engage more with him and that he wasn't interpreting the dog's signals properly. It wasn't that Ella was a bad dog. There were no serious behavioral issues. She just needed to be handled more wisely, providing her with both the structure and exercise she was craving. We also assured him it would be possible to integrate play into his life with Ella without having to invest more time that he didn't have. During the following few weeks in our board and training program, we refined the obedience exercises that Ella knew and allowed her to play with another training dog who was very friendly. But we also taught Ella to fetch a ball, starting with short tosses, wearing a long leash for control, then working up gradually to throwing farther. She took to the game like a duck to water, but what was particularly noticeable was how engaged and joyful she was in the play. It was as if some deep need within her had a new outlet, and her face lit up every time that she recognized we were going to play the game. At the conclusion of Ella's training program, George came to pick her up and to be coached on how to maintain the training. While we watched through a one-way window, Ella easily cruised through her obedience exercises. But what really caught his attention was a demonstration of how she had learned the game of fetch. By now, the dog had learned the rules of the game. Happy with anticipation, she held a sit as we prepared to throw and release her to run down the ball. Off like a shot, Ella promptly returned to her trainer and sat on command, easily releasing the ball when requested. As we went through about 4 long retrieves, George watched through the window and suddenly a tear ran down the side of his face. Embarrassed, he brushed it away, but he remarked, shaking his head, "This totally blows me away. It just never occurred to me that I could have this kind of fun with Ella at the same time as I'm tiring her out. Amazing. Do you think I could try this while you watch me?" We assured him that this would be entirely possible, and toward the end of our time together, we coached him on how to continue working on fetch, complete with the rules that make it productive. It was a joy to get an email several weeks later with a video attachment. It was a 3-minute clip of George playing fetch with Ella, complete with the same joyous enthusiasm, but now with the owner's happy encouragement accompanying the game. Ella ended every play session happily rolling on the ground, delighted, still holding her ball. We could hear George praising her in the background. That illustrates an important point. Play isn't for dogs alone. People need to play as well. It's vital to our psychological health. In our modern, always connected society, we get a subtle, sometimes even not so subtle, message that play is solely for kids, or, in this context, dogs. We feel we have to apologize for wanting to do something fun that falls under the umbrella of play. After all, grown-ups should dedicate their time and effort into practical pursuits, such as supporting a family, earning a living, making enough money to take care of the needs of our children, saving for their education, and so on. It's a question of being responsible. Of course, these are important concerns, but we also recognize how easy it is to get out of balance when our energy is so invested in the practical that we neglect activities that re-energize us, that create a renewed sense of enthusiasm and vitality to help us stay faithful to our commitments. Play has a necessary role here. Yet, we're so busy that we have largely forgotten how to play. The lack of play will inevitably take a toll on us. Psychologists counsel that play, in its myriad varieties, whether through sports, artwork, games, puzzles, relieves stress, improves brain function, helps stimulate the mind, and boosts creativity. When everything in life has become so serious, then it is time for us to step back and realign. Playing with your dog can be a very healthy way to do this. We speak from decades of experience working with dogs and their owners. Brother Christopher has been a member of the Monks of New Skeet since 1981 and has been the director of dog training since 1982. Over many years, the monks have refined a program that addresses the whole dog, creating a learning environment that is both instructive and fun. They then teach owners how to follow through once their trained dogs return home. In recognition of the contribution the Monks of New Skeet have made to the dog training world, the International Association of Canine Professionals, IACP, inducted them into their International Hall of Fame in 2006. Marc Goldberg has been training dogs since he was 11 years old, when his mother enrolled him and his dog Gus into an obedience training class after Gus had been hit by a car. That initial experience fired a passion in him. Marc joined the Philadelphia Dog Training Club as a young teen. He went from winning obedience competitions to teaching dog training classes in college to working with private clients and their dogs. Marc now runs his own highly successful board and train at his little dog farm outside Chicago. Along the way, he's written many training articles and has been the president of the IACP. He was inducted into their Members Hall of Fame in 2014. It was a fortuitous meeting between Marc and brother Christopher at an IACP conference that began a friendship that has only grown stronger over the years. Having the opportunity to share with each other our insights into all things dog, we realized not only how much we had in common, but also recognized a growing desire to collaborate on training seminars as well as books. As already noted, we co-authored Let Dogs Be Dogs and followed up with The Art of Training Your Dog. We intended this new book to open your mind to a new reality, that when done in a specific manner, play can not only be joyful, but it can also be educational for your dog, leading to better behavior. Trust us when we say that better behavior and more productive time dedicated to your dog will not only make him happy, but it will make you happy too. Dogs are creatures of play who use it to engage with one another and with us to celebrate life. Can we not learn from them? Indeed we can. And if we do, they will teach us to de-stress, to relax, to take ourselves less seriously, and to enjoy life more. While it is true that they also manifest serious adult behavior in hunting, guarding, or various forms of work, there's always the link with play that provided a natural foundation from their earliest days. So we invite you to come with us as we explore how to use play as a vital tool to transform your relationship with your dog. For that is what most owners dream of. A relationship that brings out the best in both dogs and ourselves, and that is a joy to experience. However, productive play with the purpose, is vastly different from what so many people actually do with their dogs. Many dogs just get riled up when playing and may leap at their owners, nip, run away, or steal the toys and chew them up. Although they may find that fun, you won't find it rewarding. So you'll probably cut the session short, and you might not want to do it again. But as we said, all good games have rules. Just as organized and well-coached sports can teach many beneficial lessons to children, the same can be said for organized and well-coached play for dogs. You and your dog form a team, with you as the coach. You might not need a clipboard and a whistle, but some guidelines and strategies will help you motivate your dog to have a blast while simultaneously learning critical skills such as coming when called, self-calming, and draining energy in a way that will make you both happy. Doesn't that beat the activities your dog may engage in without good coaching? Digging up the yard, barking down the house, and chasing the cat may be on your dog's scorecard right now. But take this journey with us, and we know you'll find a better way to get the behavior and relationship you're really looking for. When you witness a dog and owner playing together with focus, totally in the moment, you don't have to ask what sort of a relationship they have. It is on display before your very eyes. Both of us know this is in our bones, and throughout this book, we will share our perspective with you and teach you how to make it work for both you and your dog. Yet, aside from our own experience, it is helpful to know that a number of recent behavioral studies on dogs have confirmed the importance of play in the development of happier, healthier, more well-adjusted and balanced dogs. A convenient source for a number of these studies originally appeared in The Bark magazine and are still accessible online. A more detailed book entitled Canine Play Behavior: The Science of Dogs at Play provides the most recent scientific evidence on the importance and benefits of play in canine behavior. In short, play with a purpose is fun, and it leads you to a better life with your dog. Chapter 1. Instinct: Drives and How They Influence Play. Humanity plays. We've probably done so since before recorded history. The first signs of a formal game were found in Europe and date back 7,000 years to the Bronze Age. But we imagine that well before then, in the 200,000-year history of Homo sapiens, people played all manner of games to pass time, to bond, and to hone their skills. Dogs were domesticated from wolves in Europe and Asia about 30,000 years ago. We suspect that a great deal of time passed before they were brought into homes as members of the family. For a very, very long time, it is likely they were more useful as garbage disposals and intruder alarms than as playmates. But surely, somewhere along the way, a little girl or boy and a puppy found a commonality expressed in playfulness. In modern times, we all play games. As children, we run off excess energy and make friends through activities like tag and hide-and-go-seek. More organized games come as we get older. We may start with basketball, soccer, lacrosse, or other sports. Getting older, we might take up golf or even card games. From chess to video games, play is for everyone, and the varieties are endless. Human beings are hardwired to spend certain amounts of time playing, and it is easy to see why. Diversion reduces stress and enriches our experience of life. Interestingly, the same can be said for dogs. Observers of canine behavior note how creative dogs are in engaging in play, even from their earliest weeks. Instincts have a key role here, expressing themselves naturally within the behavior of the litter. For example, two pups manifest what is called pack drive by wrestling playfully in the yard. It is entirely good-natured and helps them learn how to use their mouths appropriately. Or take the example of a puppy chasing after a blowing leaf in the exercise yard. The leaf triggers the pup's prey drive as the pup tries to pounce on the moving leaf as the wind moves it away. The lesson is clear. From play, puppies learn how to interact with the world, and as they mature, play leads them to progressively more adult behaviors that determine their place in the pack. Before domestication, play even influenced survival. You'll see very young puppies engage in stalking behavior, prey drive, and mock combat with one another, defense drive, which eventually would have prepared them to hunt for food and protect their territory. It also helped to reinforce pack cohesion by interacting playfully and regularly with each other. Within the litter, and later within the pack, early dogs played in ways that helped them become a successful species. They honed their skills, built relationships, and determined who among them were the most committed to winning. And while in our day, dogs don't have to hunt and defend as they did in the past, these predispositions still express themselves and need to be redirected in healthy ways. They're deeply instinctive. Yet, built into play and all the games that we, and dogs, participate in are rules that govern how the instincts are expressed. All productive games have rules, especially for dogs because they have fast reflexes and 42 teeth. The rules of each game are important. They outline how the play is meant to happen. When players follow the rules, play transpires smoothly, in a positive manner that benefits all participants. Usually, the dogs themselves understand these rules based on instinctual social conventions that they share. But not always. That's why we want you to understand instincts that drive play and the way one dog will interpret another. Two dogs who go on numerous walks together before finally being turned loose to play will probably have worked out the initial nuances of their relationship because they will have seen one another multiple times. They can begin play with a sense of familiarity that will require less posturing than if the first meeting goes instantly to high-energy interaction. Although this often works out just fine, you'll have more influence over the outcome if you control the introductions. Yes, dogs will instinctively want to play, but for the best chance of a good outcome, knowledgeable owners approach dog socialization with a plan. We'll help you with that in Chapter 10, Socializing Dogs so they can play together. But the important insight is that we have a key role to play in guiding our dog's instinctive drives toward their flourishing. It doesn't just happen automatically. Which is why we like to say all good games have rules. This applies to your relationship with your dog as much as it does to human activities such as sports and other games. The value of playing by the rules is that it teaches self-discipline and teamwork. It keeps both parties in bounds while helping us mature as we enjoy the process of becoming more bonded and more skilled in our interactions. Think of athletes on a team who practice long and hard through a season and eventually win a championship. They don't achieve this by cheating on the rules. Rather, they strive to play within the rules of the game, and the relationships they forge through that process often last a lifetime. We have an opportunity to teach critical concepts to our dogs, including the most important skill of all, impulse control, the ability to respond to her owner when distracted instead of ignoring and simply doing her own thing. When you successfully take the time to teach your dog how to play the games in this book, you build the relationship. At the same time, your dog learns to be more responsive to your needs. Teaching him to control his instinctive impulses while he has fun has a hugely beneficial effect on the relationship. On the other hand, if we don't clarify rules and boundaries for a dog, the results will be undesirable, accidentally reinforcing unwanted dog behaviors while increasing your own frustration. Take the example of fetch. Many dogs love it because it goes to the heart of their prey drive. Say your dog gets super excited when you grab the ball and head for the door. As you move, you feel the dog jumping persistently at your backside, wild with anticipation. Instead of pausing until the behavior ceases, essentially saying, "We don't play until you move with me calmly," you try to get the dog out the door and into the yard quickly. You'll discover that the dog's jumping behavior will be even more frenzied, and she will tend to express that in similar situations when she gets excited. It may even escalate into spinning and barking. Next thing you know, you're frustrated and yelling, "No!" Now both you and the dog are barking, and the relationship is affected. On the other hand, if your dog can control her excitement and walk happily but politely into the yard, you'll both feel better. She will be practicing impulse control to get to the fun bit, and that will carry over naturally into other areas of her life. Instinct influences behavior, but so do emotion and desire. As important as instincts are in canine development and flourishing, they are not the whole story. Dogs are not robotically instinctive. They're creatures with emotions that blend with their instincts to actively seek what is good in their environment. Dr. Temple Grandin, the famous animal behaviorist, in her book, Animals Make Us Human, shows convincingly how this seeking behavior positively affects the lives of all animals. By using her insights, when we apply seeking behavior to the instinctive life of dogs, we find that dogs naturally engage in play because it generates positive emotions. When the seeking system is triggered in the brain, it causes them to move forward, sniff, explore their environment, and interact with other members of their species as well as humans. This naturally leads to play behaviors they find pleasurable. Little wonder.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?